No, but you see, like, that stuff is real though. Like, if you're an athlete, like, you can't really say and talk about a lot of things. That's one thing I didn't like.
Yeah, I'm
So that's okay. So you like being able to speak.
It's not about just I have to get something off my chest. It's just like about I don't want to have to say things or do things for content. I just want to be my genuine self.
You want to be yourself, yeah.
Shilo Sanders is making noise, hinting, pushing, and let's be honest, almost daring the league to react. And the message? He might want in, not just anywhere, but potentially alongside his brother, Shedeur Sanders, with the Cleveland Browns.
Nah, I was just acknowledging like the fact like that y'all about to get me canceled, but I can't really get canceled right now, so it's not that bad. Watch it. 'Cause I'm not on the team. But if you're on the team, then it's like, okay.
And if that happens, this isn't just a roster move, it's a cultural shift, because let's not pretend this is random. The Sanders name doesn't move quietly. It never has. Whether it's Deion Sanders setting the tone at Colorado, or his sons carrying that same presence into every locker room they enter, there's always something bigger going on. So when Shilo starts hinting at the NFL, and specifically aligning himself with Shedeur's potential path, you have to read between the lines. This isn't just about football. It's about branding, influence, and rewriting how players approach their careers.
That Shilo Sanders could be possibly joining the Browns. Now, I want to be the first one to tell you this. I ain't no credibility to any of this that he's going.
Here's the part nobody is talking about. Shilo going to the Browns wouldn't just be about adding a defensive piece. It would instantly turn Cleveland into one of the most watched teams in the league. Not necessarily because of wins, not necessarily because of playoff expectations, but because of attention, because of personality, because of narrative. And the NFL, whether it admits it or not, thrives on that kind of energy. Now let's get into what actually sparked this conversation. Shilo Sanders has been vocal, whether through interviews, social media, or just his general presence, about his confidence and readiness for the next level. He's not shy about it. He doesn't tone it down. And recently, the tone has shifted from "I'm ready for the NFL" to something closer to "I know where I want to be." And when that "where" starts to overlap with Shedeur's trajectory, people start connecting dots real fast.
Middle of the day on a Monday after we wrapped up for work, and we see Shedeur Sanders say, "Thank you, God," wrist up. And he back in his iconic #2 jersey.
Meanwhile, in Cleveland, Todd Monken is already dealing with a quarterback situation that's anything but settled. You've got Shedeur building momentum, reportedly spending time in the facility, making himself visible. You've got Deshaun Watson still in the mix, trying to reclaim relevance. And then you've got questions around other quarterbacks like Dylan Gabriel, who hasn't exactly been making headlines for the right reasons. So now imagine adding Shilo into that equation, not as a quarterback, but as a defensive presence with a built-in connection to the guy who might be leading your offense. This is where it gets dangerous, because when you start bringing family dynamics into an NFL locker room, you're not just adding talent, you're adding alliances, and alliances can be powerful. They can elevate teams, create chemistry, and build accountability, but they can also create division if things don't go smoothly. If Shedeur becomes QB1 and Shilo is on the roster, suddenly you have a built-in support system that doesn't depend on the organization. That's rare, and it can either be a massive advantage or a complication.
Breaking news: the Cleveland Browns have changed Shedeur Sanders' jersey number to #2.
Let's break down the football side for a second, because Shilo isn't just riding his last name. He's a legit player, physical, aggressive, plays with an edge. He's not afraid to hit, not afraid to talk, and definitely not afraid of the spotlight. His numbers at Colorado showed flashes of playmaking ability, especially in open field situations. He's not perfect. There are questions about consistency, angles, and discipline, but the raw tools are there. And in today's NFL, where safeties are expected to do a little bit of everything, that versatility matters. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Shilo's biggest asset might not be his stats, it might be his mindset. He plays like someone who expects to be seen, and that matters more than people think. Because in a league full of talented players, the ones who stand out are the ones who demand attention. Coaches notice that, teammates feel that, and fans, they gravitate toward it.
We know it's official that Shedeur Sanders will be wearing the #2 jersey this upcoming season.
Now let's escalate this a bit, because the timing here is everything. The NFL is in a weird place right now. Teams are trying to balance traditional structure with modern player empowerment. You've got young players coming in with brands, followings, and expectations that go beyond the field, and organizations are still figuring out how to handle that. Some embrace it, some resist it, and some pretend it doesn't exist until it becomes a problem. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They underestimate how much control they actually have over their narrative. Shilo isn't making that mistake. He's leaning into it. He's shaping the conversation before anyone else can define it for him. And whether you like that or not, it's effective. Because now we're not just talking about whether he can make an NFL roster. We're talking about where he might go, who he might play with, and what that could mean for a franchise. And let's not ignore the ripple effects. If Shilo and Shedeur end up on the same team, especially a team like Cleveland that's been searching for identity for years, that changes everything. Suddenly, you're not just building around a quarterback, you're building around a story, and stories drive everything in today's sports world. Ratings, engagement, relevance, it all ties back to narrative.
Big news across the NFL just happened moments ago. Shedeur Sanders is going to go back to number 2.
Did you just say across the NFL?
This is big news, yeah.
This
is where it gets dangerous, because once a team becomes more about the story than the structure, things can spiral quickly. If the Browns start making decisions based on optics instead of football, that's a problem. But if they can balance both, if they can harness the attention while still building a competitive roster, that's where things get interesting. Now let's bring in some broader NFL context, because this isn't happening in isolation. Across the league, teams are redefining how they build rosters. Look at the way younger quarterbacks are being supported. Look at how franchises are prioritizing chemistry and culture over just raw talent. The days of just plug in the best player are fading. It's about fit now. It's about alignment. And in that sense, the idea of pairing Shilo with Shedeur actually makes a lot of sense. You're not just adding 2 players. You're adding continuity. You're adding familiarity. You're reducing the adjustment period. And in a league where time is everything, that can be a huge advantage. Here's the part nobody is talking about. The NFL has always been a copycat league. If this works, if a team successfully builds around family connections and pre-existing chemistry, you better believe other teams will start looking at similar strategies. College teammates, brothers, training partners. It could open the door to a completely different approach to roster construction. But there's also risk. There's always risk. Because if it doesn't work, if the team struggles, if the locker room dynamics get complicated, it becomes a cautionary tale. And suddenly, what looked like innovation turns into a mistake. Now let's tie this into the bigger legacy angle, because that's where this really gets interesting. The Sanders family isn't just trying to succeed. They're trying to redefine success. They're challenging the traditional path. They're saying, you don't have to wait your turn. You don't have to stay quiet. You don't have to fit into the mold. And that's powerful, but it also puts a target on your back. Because when you step outside the norm, people are waiting for you to fail. They're waiting to say, see, that's why we don't do it that way. And the NFL is especially unforgiving when it comes to that kind of narrative. This is where it gets dangerous, because legacy isn't just built on success. It's built on how you handle pressure. And if Shilo and Shedeur end up together in Cleveland, the pressure will be immediate. Every game, every play, every decision will be scrutinized, not just as players, but as representatives of a bigger idea. And let's be real for a second. This is where the comparison culture kicks in, because in today's sports world, everything gets compared to everything else, and that includes the way players control their narratives. We've seen it in the NBA with guys like LeBron, who spent years shaping every storyline, controlling every headline, making sure the narrative always leaned in his favor. And while that worked for a while, it also created a situation where reality and narrative started to blur. Because here's the truth. When everything is curated, when every move is calculated, you lose the ability to adapt when things don't go your way. And the NFL doesn't care about your narrative. It exposes you, it tests you, it forces you to adjust in real time. And if you're not ready for that, no amount of branding can save you. So now we're left with a real question, and it's not a comfortable one. Is this potential move, Shilo to the Browns, joining Shedeur, a brilliant evolution of player empowerment, or is it a risky experiment that could backfire if the football doesn't match the hype? Because one thing is certain, the NFL is watching, fans are watching, and if this actually happens, it won't just be a transaction, it'll be a statement. And statements in the NFL, they either change the league or they get crushed by it.